Hey guys, Stormtroopers here with another video. Before I even do anything, I just wanted to say I know that my mic is starting to get a little bit kind of scratchy, and I will be getting a new one. But until I do that, until I go into town and get a new one, I do live in a rural area, so I'm probably going to go in and get one maybe at the end of the week or something. So sorry about that. It's not horrible, there's only been a couple people that have mentioned it, but it's not good either. And it does look like, when I'm looking at it, it looks like, I don't know, man. Looks like one of my kids spilled something on it or something, but no one's admitting to that. So, but for now, this is what I got. It's not the worst thing in the world, but here we go. So, the Darth Maul Shadow Lord show. The series will not portray villain as misunderstood. Instead, have him ask, "If I'm the Joker and Batman's dead, what does that feel like?" Well, and that's one of the things that I was thinking about with this show is why is Darth Maul still alive right now? He serves no purpose. He doesn't serve a purpose, right? And because he doesn't serve a purpose, they had to make him a crime lord, right? Like Jabba the Hutt was a crime lord, right? And there are other crime lords in Star Wars, but because they have nothing for him to do, they make him a crime lord. That's how I always felt about it. I felt like it was kind of lame. It was just like, let's just make him a crime lord, like 15 other dudes, because now he's not the number two, right? It's Vader. So it's kind of like, I just don't see the point in this. He should be dead. He should have died in The Phantom Menace. It's so silly. Anyway, so let's see what Sam Witwer has to say. I think at the beginning of this article, there's some stuff that I don't really need to cover. I guess what Sam's saying is that misunderstood is what he is in Clone Wars or whatever. Which again, I just liked him as a bulldog. I just liked him as Palpatine's bulldog. My whole thing was make all the Darth Maul content you want. But let's just make it prequel, pre-Phantom Menace, show what he was doing and stuff. That would have been cooler. But it's just a lot of Darth Maul content, and I don't know. It's fake legs, and he doesn't even have a butt or a, how does he go to the bath? The whole thing is just so weird to me. At least with Anakin, it was kind of believable, right? Because it's Obi-Wan chops off his legs just above the knee, and his arms, just above the elbow. Darth Maul loses his reproductive organs and his ability to poo and pee. I just find the whole thing silly. I do. I'm sorry. I've always found it silly. And this of course, is attached to when they introduced what I would consider generic magic into Star Wars with the Night Sisters. Darth Maul is kind of a big part of that, right? As they help resurrect him, and with the green misty, very generic. And then I almost thought I'd see a crystal ball, and then we did see them in The Acolyte, the witches kind of moving their hands around like they're carrying crystal balls. So the whole thing's very generic. And again, they just don't really have much for him to do. It's just content. I keep saying this. They just content. Just flood and saturate you with Star Wars content. That's literally all they do. Whitmer told Sackhoff that Shadow Lord was a show about bad guys versus worse guys. This isn't going to be a show where you find out, oh, Maul is just a real teddy bear man, said the actor. The guy, he's misunderstood. You have to understand, if you have coffee with him, he's really cool. We're not doing that, but the idea is, in fact, that even though he's a bad guy, the fun of it is going right. But is he as bad as Sidious or Vader? And the answer is actually no. Again, that's just not making me excited to watch this show at all. From the Sith perspective, this guy has flaws, and these flaws are the things you're talking about, the humanity that seeps in at various points, and some of this is humanity he did not have maybe early in Clone Wars, but because of things that happened to him, he's rethought a lot of things. Yeah, he's no longer the bulldog. He's no longer, this scary guy. He's this misunderstood. But that's the only way they could have more content. For example, Whitmer then offered up, this is a guy who knew that the Empire was coming, and he was part of that. He was supposed to be part of the Clone Wars. He was supposed to work with his master, and they were going to bring about the destruction of the Republic and the destruction of his hated enemy, the Jedi Order. He was raised to hate them. He trained his whole life to destroy them. Well, now we have a show where, okay, all of that is done. But Maul, yeah, you killed a bunch of Jedi during the Clone Wars, but you did not work with Sidious. You didn't know the whole plan, and in fact, you got so scared about his plan that you tried to stop it at the last second. son of Dothamir, itself adapted from a Clone Wars animated series story that was scrapped due to the series' initial cancellation. Okay. You tried to stop at the last second. That's part of the problem with this, too, is why would Sidious allow this guy to still be running around if he's not, like, right with him, like, doing stuff with him? It almost feels like, oh, I have Vader now. Okay, you go ahead and go do your thing. I don't care. Like, it's just... he should be dead. It's dumb. Blood is about to spill, all right. Yours. You're too late, General. Our plans are in motion, and they can't be stopped. Now, no matter how many times you fail, you never learn this lesson, Maul. There is only one plan, one great design, which shall govern the universe mind. See, and that's what it is. They have to continue the content, they have to have a conflict of interest between Sidious and Maul, right? Because he should be dead. Like, why was Sidious could get him killed, right? Like, it shouldn't be that hard. I never thought like, oh, Vader has a lightsaber and uses the Force, so there's no way that the Emperor couldn't kill him anytime he wanted to. It was always, okay, he's the Emperor. He can kill anybody anytime he wants to. He has the resources and he has himself. So the whole thing is just kind of silly. It's like if Maul was becoming a problem, the Emperor would have just dealt with him. In my opinion, that's how it should have went. But if you deal with him, then you can't be alive still, and then you can't have content, and you need more and more and more and more content, and then content on top of the content, with content on top. Now the Empire is here, which Maul would have known that was his master's intent, but now that he's seeing it, he's like, is this what he had in mind? Because this isn't what I thought it would be. This is a little scary. Maul comes from a time of swords and sorcery and magic and knights. Yes, but the sorcery and magic part is more to do with Clone Wars, with the generic magic they introduced in Clone Wars. To me, that's the problem, right? To me, that's where the problems begin in Star Wars, is with the Clone Wars. Before that, we all knew what the rules were, we all knew what was going on, and then content, right? You got to make a show with like 25 episodes a season or whatever it is, and just flood it with content. And now all of that color is being sucked out of the universe by this mechanized empire. And Maul's like, is this right? Is this the universe that we were trying to build? Well, what did you think you were doing, bro? Like you participated in following the order of killing Jedi, but now you're upset that there's no more knights. There's no more knights for you to go after. See, it's just like, it's just content. It's very shallow level stuff. And it also becomes a little bit more boring when that's the universe of the Empire. Well, yeah, because, I mean, you're dealing with side stories and stuff that isn't galactic level stuff. And that's why it's just not as good, as far as I'm concerned. That's why all these shows aren't as good as the movies. I'm sorry, but a show about Palpatine trying to extract a resource to build a part of the Death Star is not really all that compelling. It just isn't. And what you do is, and you can say that you think I'm wrong and you like it and whatever, okay, fine. But you can't argue the fact that you have that brings the brand down, right? When you go from rare movies that are galactic level stories to focusing on a little detail over here, over this long, drawn-out show, it diminishes the gravity of the brand. It really does. All that type of stuff should just be mentioned in movies. You shouldn't be doing entire shows about it. Not with Star Wars. And I said this from the very beginning. That was the problem with them going to TV. It was going to reduce the brand to, secondary, tertiary, side stories that don't really impact the greater galaxy, and that doesn't make it as cool. It just doesn't. Like, Sith and Jedi competing over the galaxy is so much more interesting than Sith and Jedi competing to find a particular lightsaber, or competing to, save a baby or something, or, it's just isn't the same. It's not the same level. And this dude should be dead, man. Okay, so this is Whitmer's talking now, and he says, look at the Stormtrooper division in comparison to the clones. The clones learned under the Jedi to become their own people and stuff like that. But the Stormtroopers, whenever we perform them, and I've performed a lot of Stormtroopers over the years, we try to perform them as if they have this soulless nature. They're always just sort of like this, And what if when they're talking to each other, they're talking about some weird, mundane, mechanized stuff, their humanity and their individuality has been pulled away and sucked away by this empire, which is, of course, strange as well. Finn was a stormtrooper. Like, he felt like he had a pretty individualness to him. And then the clones are clones. But again, in the Clone Wars, we have to do that. We have to make them be their own people because content. Like, you know? In the movies, they were just there to do stuff. You know, stormtroopers are just there to do stuff. They're not there to be part of the story because they're not a big part of the story. They're side characters. They're a plot device. But now we got to make them into humans and because we need content. Because we're not dealing with galactic level stuff. We're dealing with some clone guy and his, you know, he's sad or something. And don't worry, you're an individual clone guy. It's just... So this show is just another offshoot of Clone Wars where it's just a lot of stuff that is kind of unnecessary. Closing out the tease, the Darth Maul voice actor told his Bo-Katan actress host, so you have a guy who comes from the time of magic, but times have changed, and then he was born and raised to destroy the Jedi, but now they're gone, and he's seeing the alternative and going, is this better? I'm not sure this is better, and also, boy, how do I feel now that I'm the Joker and Batman's dead? What does that feel like? It sounds lame. It sounds like it feels like nothing. Finally pressed by Sackhoff as to whether Shadow Lord's Joker and Batman-esque narrative would feature any good guys, Whitmer asserted, yes, there's a lot of new characters in this show. You have characters who are absolutely far more moral than Maul, that get caught up in some stuff. Sometimes, in fact, with him, the interesting thing is, can they work together? How do they work together? Do things go wrong? It's a very tension-filled story that we're telling. It's going to just be like a bunch of, like, Crimson Dawn stuff. I don't know. And so the other thing I checked out just real quick here is what was going on. Like, I never watched Rebels, dude. I'm not watching Rebels. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, I guess I've seen a bit of it, I should say. Yes, that's fair. I've seen a bit of it. I thought Inquisitors were lame. And this is what I mean. So Maul eventually travels to Malachor in search for an ancient weapon located in a Sith temple and obtained a new lightsaber. However, his ship crashed there, leaving him trapped there for years without contact of the galaxy. Maul was later tracked down by the Eighth Brother, an Imperial Inquisitor sent on a secret mission by Vader to kill Maul. Eventually, Maul came across a Jedi apprentice, Ezra Bridger, who he manipulated into helping him retrieve a Sith holocron. Along their brief adventure, Maul also taught Ezra the ways of the dark side by preying upon the body's passionate and aggressive tendencies. And you know what I mean? Like, so you've got just this, like... So the Emperor sends in an Inquisitor to deal with his, like, direct apprentice, his old apprentice? That's stupid. The only person that you send is Vader. You don't send the Eighth Brother. Man, the Inquisitors are lame. They don't even make any sense. The Emperor's going to trust a bunch of Jedi that they're going to be his, you know, acolytes. It's just so dumb. And then they just flip. They're just like, yeah, I'll be dark side now because I'm scared to die. Even though, like, no, that's not. You're taught not to be as a Jedi. Like, nobody's scared to die. Man, Rebels is such a bad show. So he's running around with Ezra Bridger. After gaining the holocron, Maul and Ezra used the holocron as a key to reach the front of the temple where they came across Kanan Jarrus and Ahsoka, who were in combat with the Inquisitors. While Ahsoka and Kanan were reluctant to trust Maul, with his help, the four of them forced the Inquisitors to retreat. You see what I'm saying? Like, we're dealing with, I need my holocron. Come, you know, this is the storyline, going and getting some holocron. A fetch quest. Like, Star Wars, like, man, it's just diminished so much. Still unwilling to trust Maul, they only cooperated at the behest of Ezra, who remained adamant that Maul was on their side. With Maul's guidance, the rebels scaled the temple in an attempt to reach the top, where Maul claimed the knowledge they sought was. Along the way, Maul and Ezra engaged the Seventh Sister, and Maul able to subdue her in a Force choke. It was then that Maul sensed the presence of Darth Vader, who was approaching Malachor. He, however, dismissed his feeling to Ezra, and the young Jedi asked him what was wrong. Maul then engaged the Inquisitors while Ezra continued on alone. Maul and Ahsoka's assistants slew the Fifth Brother while Kanan damaged the Eighth Brother's lightsaber. As the Eighth Brother attempted to escape using his weapon, it malfunctioned and the Inquisitor fell to his death. And this is Age of Empires. This is around the timeline of when this show takes place, sort of, right? Because I think this show takes place like 18 BBY. So, I mean, I don't know. Nothing about this show seems exciting to me. at all. It's just, we're just leading up to him and Obi-Wan in 2BBY, and he's got nothing to do. So he's Crimson Dawn, and he's running around chasing holocrons, and he's running around with Ezra Bridger, and it's all just become so muddied too. Like, the idea that, like, Jedi are gonna, like join up with a Sith and do stuff, it's just, like, it just takes away all the tension. It just makes it corny. You guys let me know what you think, but I don't know where they're gonna go here and how this is gonna be interesting. Why wouldn't Palpatine just show up and kill him? Like, you know, like, why would he let this guy who knows a whole bunch of secrets be running around the galaxy? And then he's like, yeah, don't worry, Vader, you don't need to go deal with him. Send an Inquisitor with a helicopter lightsaber to go deal with Darth Maul. It's all just, ugh. Anyway, I just wish he died. So, whatever. I just can't get into, like, these side lame stories that have so little impact on the galaxy and don't even really matter. Anyways, let me know in the comment section what you think. If you like this content, please like, subscribe. Always helps the channel. Feel free to check out the SMA channel. Have yourselves a really good day.